Now, before I embark on this video, the box that these guys came in just made me chuckle. I was looking at it idly and I went, Ferguson Thompson Technology, and I thought, that seems like quite an old name. Why do I know that name? And then it said Video Plus built in, and then when I looked over here, it said Ferguson Thompson Technology Video Cassette Recorder, and I thought, that's the box that they came in from the auction house where I picked these ones up, because no one else would have a box containing something that old. So yeah, funny. I'm pretty sure that my mum and dad once had a Ferguson something. Couldn't quite tell you what exactly, but a Ferguson something definitely. So, what are we looking at here? Well, you will be familiar, I'm sure, with my normal sort of individual Eaglemoss unboxing videos, and I'm not actually going to do these individually. I'm just going to have a quick look through them, because I might do them individually later on at some point, but right now I just want to kind of get a quick capture of them just to show you what I picked up in this auction, really. And it was one of those auctions where I thought I was going to get a lot of ones that I didn't already have that I could then re-auction off to help to pay for the auction. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, it turned out that most of these were starships I didn't actually already have. So yes, we're into the Eaglemoss Federation starship, well, say Federation starships in general from Star Trek. You know, somebody's collection. Some of them I've already got on eBay. Some of them I've already sold on eBay. These guys are not in my personal collection. So, by my rules, I have to hold on to them. But what we've got here is a USS Chekhov, NCC 57302. Now, although I think, I'm going to say it's New Orleans class, but my memory on these is not the best. They're quite obscure ship classes. And these nacelles are marker pens, would you believe? That's what they used, because this was one of the ships that was used for the fleet in the Wolf 359 battle from Best of Both Worlds, Star Trek Next Gen Season 3. And they needed a lot of ships, not necessarily moving around, but they needed a lot of wreckage. So these were the poor ships that got totaled by the Borg, by a single Borg cube in that episode. So there are a few examples of these types of ship here. So if I show you this one, this is the USS Awane, and as you can see, their nacelles, when you look at them up close, are exactly the same, marker pens. I think she was Cheyenne class, but interestingly, she's got 4 nacelles, which is relatively unusual. You've seen it with Picard's old ship, the Stargazer, but it's not that common a choice of Federation starships to have 4 nacelles. But those were both Wolf 359s. And similarly, the USS Kyushu, I forget what class this one was. If I guessed New Orleans before, I could have been wrong. Maybe this one is New Orleans. I don't know if it actually says on the... Oh yes, no, that's what this one's New Orleans class. There we go. Which does then beg the question: will the other one tell me what its class was? Let's have a quick look. Oh, Springfield class. Yes, okay, Springfield. I did go through a night of checking on these, because I was pretty sure that we don't ever see them outside of the Best of Both Worlds fleet. And you'll see this has got the Galaxy class nacelles. In fact, probably a Galaxy class saucer section, if I were to guess, with a few bits and bobs, possibly including marker pens stuck onto the top of it. So Springfield, Cheyenne, New Orleans, I think. Now this is a Medusa. Yeah, this is a Medusan starship. Again, not one I would have particularly aimed to get, but it falls within my original series sort of scope. I keep thinking I've seen this one recently. I think it might have been was it in Lower Decks recently? I say recently. Recently is relative, obviously. And here we've got the Phoenix, the USS Phoenix. Now this was the Maxwell ship, as I recall, who O'Brien had some relation with. It was from the episode The Wounded, I think. But apparently this dish, this sort of radar, sort of, what do you call them, AWACS dish, never really caught on. It was the only Nebula class that actually had that dish, I believe, from memory. So again, interesting one to have, and annoyingly one I have to keep because it's next gen relevant. This one I never really set out to get, strangely enough, but this appears in Enterprise and is, of course, the Enterprise J, which we catch a very, very brief glimpse of. Very bizarre looking ship. Really, really incredibly spindly nacelles. I mean, look at that. They're almost sort of Discovery-esque. They're almost barely held on there. So that, that will certainly go in my Enterprise sub collection, which I do have one of. I mean, ironically, of course, the Eaglemoss was out of date for the F and the G. I don't know if there's an online F. Maybe there is. But I doubt they ever did the G, of course, for obvious reasons. So, that's kind of the latest Enterprise you can get from them. This is quite a nice ship, quite a dark ship. And it is from the reunification episode, I believe, where the Enterprise is trying to track down some arms smugglers. And they sort of inadvertently blow that ship up. And got a little bit overexcited. Given that it's an arms-carrying ship, you would have thought they'd have been a little bit more gentle with it. But anyway, this is a Hirogen Hollow ship, I want to say. And I want to say that correctly because it is indeed a Hirogen Hollow ship. So again, that's the Star Trek Voyager ship, so that would fit with my collection's parameters. So I'm not allowed to get rid of it. This is a funny one, and unfortunately I dropped it, which was remarkably stupid and careless of me. The USS Curry, and it's a sort of an Excelsior kit bash, effectively, and and it is actually bashed now. I'm actually I should be able to glue that back on. I did do it successfully once, but it came apart again. Briefly seen in Deep Space Nine as a sort of fleet kit bashy sort of ship, I believe, but only very, very briefly seen. Not a significant ship at all in that sense. I also got an assimilated Arctic 1, which the crew of the original Enterprise from Enterprise, the show, have to deal with. And of course, although they're not mentioned, it was a Borg episode, basically. And this is the partially Borgified ship that the Enterprise was up against. I mean, by all rights, they probably shouldn't have been able to overcome them. But I think the rationale was that because they were assimilating a very old school sort of ship, they couldn't really get it up to modern Borg standards, and it was 200 years prior to the main Borg encounters, so maybe Borg technology itself wasn't quite as advanced then. Now I'm showing you this one, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was. And it is a Lockrim warship. And I can't remember who the Lockrim were. Answers on a postcard. It looks a bit Voyager-y to me. I could be wrong. Lockrim warship. No, won't come to me. Won't come to me, that one. Answers on a postcard. Could even be Enterprise, of course. Could be Enterprise era. A little Ferengi shuttle there. You sort of forget that the Ferengi do have other ships other than their some Marauders. We just don't see a lot of them in the various series. In fact, that could even be the one from Enterprise. Because the Ferengi do turn up in Enterprise once, as I recall. I don't think they're actually identified as the Ferengi, because otherwise that would be Ferengi First Contact, I think. Well, I'm saying that, would it be? Ish, possibly. This, I think, is a Bajoran something or other. Bajoran freighter, yes. So I'm guessing kind of generic background ship. It looks a little bit like something out of Elite, that really, being triangular in its nature. But yeah, I wonder if, in fact, that's been a reused model for several things. Every now and again, you get sort of generic ship of the week turning up, and it could be one of those sorts of things. This is an interesting little one. This is strangely, there's a little. It's not a price tag. There's just a sticker on the bottom of the stand area. A Vaclus. Now, I think this is just a small, sort of small Vulcan ship. Not quite sure what the Vaclus was in terms of. I wonder if it was that. Was it a survey ship? Possibly. But it's quite interesting because it's got a sort of sawn off ring. Because the Vulcan ships from Enterprise, which I think this is definitely from, because we saw more Vulcan ships in Enterprise than any of the Trek series easily. So I think that is a little sort of hint at the fact that obviously their bigger ships have full rings going around. There's a sort of half ring there. It's a small sort of vessel. It could be the one that T'Pol went to Earth in on one of her early missions before she joined Starfleet. Could be that one. This one always makes me smile. This is Captain Proton's rocket from the holodeck program that Paris likes to run every now and again. That actually appears in black and white. And of course, it is a straight copy of a sort of, well, say it's a straight copy. It's an homage to Flash Gordon's very early adventures in black and white when he was serialised and shown in cinemas as a sort of serialised show. But it is Captain Proton's rocket ship. That is exactly what it says on the tin. So it's a fun little ship, that, and it does make me smile because it is a great reproduction of those serials, and I do remember those. I think BBC Two showed them because I do kind of remember them. This is a Vidian warship, I believe, and these were the guys who like to have you donate them their organs by virtue of them pinching them without permission. So just a sort of, it's not the most exciting ship, but it's a ship, and it's Voyager. So technically speaking, I shouldn't be selling it, although at the current rate of sales, I might be tempted to. Now this is a nice one to have as a spare, if nothing else, because you don't often get the Klingon birds of prey in their variant wing positions, and this is one in its attack formation. But I do have one already, remarkably, which is intact. So technically, this is a duplicate, but I do like the bird of preys. Really, I do. So I wouldn't mind hanging on to this one. But technically speaking, she is a duplicate. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The problem is they are so breaky. Having a spare of one of these is in no way ridiculous, because you cannot count on them surviving because of their disruptors. The wing-mounted disruptors are forever wanting to break off, unfortunately. I don't know for the life of me why they didn't make them in metal, apart from the fact that they would have been too stabby. That's the only thing I can think of. And finally, we had the ECS Horizon, which is one of the bulk freighters that we see in Enterprise, which is one of these sort of earlier Earth ships, which is basically trying to ferry stuff from Earth to some of the early Earth colonies, and it's easy pickings for any pirates that wants to have a crack at it, unfortunately. So a lot of the episodes, some of the episodes do involve the Enterprise assisting these freighters, who ironically are actually ferociously independent and don't really want to be helped, because it's a reminder of the fact that they're perhaps not as capable as they might like to be. So that was, in fact, that entire leftover collection. I mean, and ironically, that was a sort of a good chunk of the of those. I actually had 2 lots worth of Eaglemoss ships, and that's probably at least about a lot and a half of them, I think, there. But it couldn't be helped, just one of those things. But I do like the fact that I've now got enough of these sorts of ships, I think, to almost put together a full Wolf 359 sort of fleet, which is quite interesting because that does allow me to do a few other things that I was sort of thinking about doing vaguely. I'm being nebulous on purpose because I haven't really quite crystallised what I'm thinking of yet, but as and when I get to it, obviously you will see it. So I shall leave it there for now, but if there are any you would like to see me getting out in more detail from those, let me know in the comments, and at some point I will sit down and actually individually get them out, although I have no idea where I'm going to put them. Alright, cheers for now.